Hi guys, my name is Amy and welcome to Recipe Tryouts, where I'm trying out different recipes that I've gotten from friends, from my parents, from grandmas, and from the cookbooks that I have. So today we are going to make one of my favorite dishes to make. It's super easy, super fast, and it doesn't really take a whole lot to do. And that is chicken Alfredo with the homemade Alfredo sauce. So first thing I'm gonna do, because I have a germ thing, is put on some gloves to deal with the chicken. And we already have our oven preheating to 425, and we have our pan ready. So what we're gonna do is spray a little non-stick spray on our pan, just so that the chicken doesn't stick to it, because then you just feel like you're just wasting chicken. So, what we're seasoning with today is something called Nature's Seasoning. It's great stuff. It's actually Nature's Seasons. Sorry about that. It's great stuff. It's good on chicken, on pork, on red meat, on everything. Like literally everything. Veggies, everything. So, that's what we're going to be seasoning our chicken with today. So I've got boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I never dry my chicken just because I feel like it makes it drier on the end. So I'll just grab it out, give it a little squeeze just in case. Place it on my pan. There. We got two more. There's only 3 of us at this house, so there's not going to be a whole lot made. But we're going to make what we can. Okay. So that is 4 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Now, since I'm going to be handling the seasoning and turning chicken, I'm going to leave 1 hand gloved and 1 hand not. So, all we're going to do is just season that up as much or as little as you want, depending on how you like it. And turn the chicken over. I always cook on the skin side up, skin side down, I mean. That way, if the chicken does happen to stick, you have a flatter surface to pull it up with, I suppose. It's a habit I've had since I was a kid, so. And then season the other side. Now this recipe I actually got from my mother, who is not Italian in any way. She's a sweet little, like, half German lady, and she just made this up one day. So while we're waiting on the oven to heat up, we're going to come over here to our pot. First, we're going to take our glove off. Come over here to our pot that's already got some water in it. We're going to turn it on to medium. This pot, you can't take it higher than medium, so we have to put it on there. And then you're going to put enough salt in this to make it look like the Dead Sea. So you're just going to salt and salt and salt until your ancestors say that's enough. Mine said there. And then put it. And now, while we're waiting, let's go through it. Let's get rid of this trash here. Right back. Okay, so to make our Alfredo sauce, what I'm going to be using is about 2 tablespoons of a good salted stick butter, about 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to smash them up in my little garlic press here. Heavy whipping cream. We'll have shredded Parmesan and shredded mozzarella. And just a little pepper just to give it a little extra. So. Okay guys, so we have our oven heated up to 425. And so all we're going to do is stick this chicken in here, middle rack. Make sure not to burn yourself. And we're going to set a timer for 25 minutes. And while that's cooking, we can start on our sauce. So what we're gonna do, grab your favorite skillet, turn the heat on to just slightly under medium, just to keep it from getting burnt. And throw your butter in there. So while the butter melts, you can kind of gather the rest of your ingredients like your garlic and your cheeses and whatnot. Might make it easier for you. Also, a little secret, if the sauce is too thick for your taste, if you add just a little bit of milk, it'll thin it out just perfectly. So while we're doing this, I will just go ahead and tell a little bit about myself and this channel, since we're brand new. I am a married housewife, mother of 4 awesome kids, and I would have loved to have something like this readily available whenever I was younger, but you know, I'm a little older than some people, so we didn't really have YouTube when I was younger, but it would have been nice. So we basically just handed down recipes from person to person, little tips and tricks. There's notes and cookbooks and everything. So it's really nice to see how different people share their cooking and their stories and everything else without the use of any kind of social media or electronic stuff. So our butter's about melted. So we're going to go ahead and start pressing this garlic. So we'll just go ahead and get these put to the side. Okay. I'm going to stick 2 cloves in at a time just for time's sake. Just push it on down. And another one. There we go. Okay, so not really sure about this garlic press thing, but it's alright, I guess. If anybody has any tips on how to use a garlic press, please let me know, because I'll grab a knife here to get this out. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So maybe not the garlic press. Maybe we'll just use our handy dandy little knife here to kind of cut it up. Now, one thing you don't want to do while you're cooking this is to let your butter brown. So if you're in a predicament like me where you're having to do something extra, an extra step that you didn't think about or something like that, or if something happens, just turn that heat down and watch your butter. And really, this recipe you can use with any kind of butter, whether it be milk butter or plant butter. It really doesn't matter, just as long as it's got a good enough layer, good enough fat content to thicken up and give a nice flavor to the sauce. Just slicing this in. Thin as I can anyway. Except for all, I don't have a razor blade like in Goodfellas. But if you do, feel free to use it on the garlic. It works great. Okay, so garlic is cut. Also, if you don't want to use like garlic cloves like I did, there's these handy dandy already minced garlic jars in garlic oil, and it's just minced garlic and oil, and they work just as well as fresh garlic does. Same taste, everything. So I'm gonna mix this garlic up till it smells really good. Starting to smell delicioso, huh? If only there was smell-o-vision available. So, next, a little secret of my mother's for thickening is just a little bit of flour, or you can use a little cornstarch if you'd like. But I just use a little flour just to help it thicken up. Only about that much. And then just stir it around, keeping it from getting brown. You don't want it brown, you just want it clear because it's Alfredo, it's white. You don't want it brown. Now, if you do like browned butter Alfredo, just let the butter brown a little bit, let the flour brown up, and it will have a different, smokier type of flavor, but it'll be just as good. Okay. So now that we have that browned up, put these in the sink again. This extra bit that I missed. Honey, you never have enough garlic, right? So, now that we have that all nice and stirred up and thickened a bit, let's go ahead and add our heavy cream. Now I have some that I opened from last time I made this, and I have a new bottle. I always smell it just to make sure that it's still good. And just pour it on in there. Actually, that might be enough. Let's give it a little stir, see what happens. And this recipe, you can, with the heavy cream and the cheeses and the garlic and such, it's literally just measure with your heart. I'm not using measurements because I don't like to. But some of my other recipes that I have that I will be making, I will be using measurements just to make it a little more accurate, and because some of them I've never done before. So it would be brand new. We're going to put a little bit of, come on, a little bit more cream in here. There we go. Just set that over here for now. So coming up on this channel, we're going to explore the cookbooks that I have. I have a cookbook that's Chinese food like you would get in a restaurant. I have that where you can make it at home. I have a couple of Julia Child style cookbooks. I'm going to make 2 recipes out of there this week. Coco Vaughn and beef bolognese. I think I said that right. But I'm also going to be making, just some simple, whoops, that's okay. Just some simple homemade type recipes. I'm going to be making Cuban sandwiches. It's okay to get a little messy in your kitchen, y'all. So, before we put the cheese in, I'm going to do a little smattering of pepper. Just because pepper makes things a little bit better. Also, you don't want bland pasta sauce. It's gross. It tastes like sadness and ick. Now, for Alfredo, some people like to use the jarred, like grated Parmesan just because they feel it melts better. I like the shredded just because it has a stronger flavor to it. So that's what I like to use. And that's what I'll be using here. It's smelling good. Let's check on this water. It's almost ready. So for fettuccine noodles, you really can use any of them. I'm using H-E-B organic ones just because I was at H-E-B when I was shopping and these were the least expensive ones. So, yay, we're saving money. I'm gonna cut these open just because it's very loud when you do the little trick of smash it open. And I don't want to get that loud today. Don't want to get that loud today. Okay, so this is starting to thicken up a little bit. So let's go ahead and add Parmesan. Again, to your heart's content. There we go. We like it a little thicker around here. So we're going to thicken up with some cheese. Cheese is always a pleasure. So you just get that and you stir it around until it melts. It'll take a little bit because Parmesan's a harder cheese than like mozzarella or what's that one? Asiago. Slightly harder than Asiago, not so much. Not too much harder, but anywho. That's a tangent that I didn't expect to go on. Haha. So, once the Parmesan starts to melt and mix in, and just keep stirring it around until it gets there. I think I'm going to put a little bit more cream in here, just because it seems to be a little. There we go. I think that'll do. Okay. Just stir that in, make sure it mixes real well. If you do some small stirs, for me, it mixes better than doing a large swath of a stir. But it's all up to you. Whichever you would like. So, now that we have that, you can see that it's really starting to thicken a bit. So we're going to go ahead and add some of this mozzarella to it. Just about whatever. Like that. Okay. And stir some more. Woohoo! Great arm and shoulder workout. So, as most people probably know by now, Alfredo is sold in a lot of Italian restaurants, but it's not actually an Italian dish. It was, from what I understand, I may be wrong. If I am, please let me know. It was created in, I think, what, Canada maybe? Somewhere not Italy. Because, yeah. Now, I went 30-something years not knowing that. So it really isn't important to know, but it is just good to know in case you need that for like Jeopardy or something. Because, you never know. Alright, so this is thickening very heavily. So we're going to throw some of our handy milk. I use 2%. You can use 1/2, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't use whole milk though, because that is too much fat for this. It'll just make it thicken up more because of the heat and the, wait, no, that's not right. I don't know. Anyway, I use 2%. If you want to use whole milk, go ahead. But I haven't had any success with whole milk being useful in making Alfredo. So, just going to stir that around, make sure it's nice and mixed well. That's better. So what you want to do when you have your Alfredo sauce is, when it kind of looks like that, that's when it's ready. So we are going to turn this off because we don't want it to be burnt or too thick or anything like that. So I'm just going to give it one more little stir. Oh, that tastes good. And we don't need the mozzarella, so we're going to put it back in the bag because that's a clean bowl and we can do that. Now, a lot of chefs will tell you to use like the best cheese you can find and, you know, the really expensive stuff. You don't have to do that. You really don't. You can just use whatever cheese you like. We are on a budget, so we buy the Kroger brand. It's delicious still, and it works. Hey, doggos. So, buy the Kroger brand's cheeses, and as you can see, whipping creams, and this is actually black pepper from Costco, so it works. Okay, so that's that. Now, maybe turn that up a little bit. So while we have the noodles, when the noodles start boiling, what we're going to do is, when the water starts boiling, rather, we're going to put the noodles into the pot, and don't break your noodles, guys. No. So we're going to put them in the pot, stir them around, try to get every bit in the water as slowly, like as easily as possible without breaking anything. And then once the chicken is done, as you can see, we got 7.5 minutes left. We're going to slice it up because we are going to have chicken on this Alfredo. Okay, so while we're waiting, there's a little bit of stuff here. If you clean as you go, it makes things a little easier. I don't always follow that rule, but you know, it's okay. Put that there. So the books that I will be cooking from this week, apart from the couple of recipes that I just know because I've made them so much, are this Easy Chinese cookbook. It's got restaurant favorites by Chris Toy. Out of this book, we're going to be making sesame chicken. It apparently takes 30 minutes or less. So that's always good for a busy weeknight. We're also going to be using the Fanny Farmer cookbook. This book was my mother's, and she said, hey, I don't use this anymore. Do you want it? So, I try it. It's got like 100 years worth of recipes in here. Some are weird. Some are okay looking. But we're going to try them out. And then the alleged holy grail of cookbooks. It's the Mastering the Art of French Cooking by Julia Child, Louisette Berthold, and Simone Beck. We'll be making 2 recipes out of this book. And this book is beautifully done. I love books, so we're going to get a little book tour. It's beautifully done. The recipes are well wrote out. There has a lot of tips and tricks in here. And it's pretty easy to cook from. So those are the cookbooks. Okay, so our water's boiling. So we're just gonna, that really didn't work as well as I thought it would. I'm just gonna kind of spread it out a little bit. Let it soak a bit and kind of move it around to push it down here. Now, if you don't have a pot like this, you don't need one. It's cool, it's easy to do like pastas and potatoes in because the strainer is built in, the colander is built in. So really, if you need to get in there, if you need to pull it out, pull something out that's being boiled or something like that, you just pick up the top handles, lift, and let it strain, and then the water's just contained all right there. And you can let it cool before you pour it down your sink or outside or wherever you do. So, since we got the pasta in, gosh darn it. Oh, backwards. We're gonna try to pull out the chicken. Don't worry, guys. The cabinet can take it. So I use a meat thermometer just for safety's sake because I don't want anybody to get sick when I cook for them. So I'm just going in the thickest part and watching what it does. 2, 4, 6. Cool. Now your chicken, you always want to make sure that chicken is heated in the middle to the temperature of 165. Cancel that. Turn off that. Cool. So let me move this over here. Clean up a little right here from the thing. Pot lid. That's it. Come over here, get my cutting board. Great cutting board. Great knife. Great knife. These are Chicago cutlery. Make the best knives I've ever used. So I'm gonna get a fork. Got my fork, got my tongs. Do I need a bowl for this? Probably need a bowl for this because we're not mixing it together. So I'm gonna find my little bowl. Just right here. Little bowl just to hold the chicken. And now I slice chicken just like that. Okay, it's beautifully done, it's juicy. This is why I do not rinse or dry my chicken, because it always turns out like that. Now, as you can see, it's not pink in the middle, it's got a nice color to it. It's perfect. Put that in my bowl. Oh shit. Next piece. Just keep going until all the chicken is cut. Oh, handy helper. Hey, handy helper. Will you come here real quick? I can get my husband to help me for a minute. Will you stir up that pasta, make sure it's alright?
Yeah.
Again, beautiful coloring on the inside. Great cook on the outside. Perfection. If I do say so myself, and I do.
She did.
This is my husband, y'all.
Hi, I'm the husband.
He's awesome.
It's ready. Is it ready?
So,
No,
It's not yet ready?
no.
Okay, we'll just keep cutting the chicken. Keep cutting until we can't cut anymore. Preciosito. So me and my husband have been married for 4 years. And they have been awesome years. We've got 2 dogs. He has 3 kids from his first marriage. And I brought my kid. So we have a great blended family that's actually pretty well adjusted, considering. There you go, Precious. And yeah, it's nice having actually supportive people. I highly recommend it. Right there. And slice. 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 Okay. So, we got some really great stuff coming up in the future for this channel. We're gonna have Halloween recipes. I might do some other things like, really? Might do some recipes like you see in a movie or in a TV show or something like that. Just depends on what y'all tell me y'all want. So okay, the chicken is all cut up. Now we're just waiting on this pasta to cook. It should be. So let's check it out. Okay. So it's almost ready. It's still kind of clearish. So you want it to be as close to opaque as possible when you're cooking pasta. It usually takes about between 8 or to 11 minutes depending on the pasta. Fettuccine usually takes about 11 or 10 or 11. So you want to make sure, if you want to time it, you can, but I never do. I just kind of stir it around and look at it to see what it does. So let's make sure our Alfredo is still nice and warm, and it is. There's still steam coming out of this sucker. So, good. That's the thickness that my family likes. If you like yours thinner, add more milk or less cheese. If you like it thicker, add more cheese, less milk, however you want to do it. Leo, come on, come on. I don't need your help cooking, buddy. No, no I don't. No, kid. Look, man. That was a fluke, okay? A fluke of chicken. I was like, dude. Oh. You don't know. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Just one noodle. I have to take one noodle, pull it off a little bit because you don't want to burn yourself before you eat this gorgeous meal you just made. Okay, that one's for the dog. Let's get a new one. Just one, man. All right. Now, So if that happens, get another one, cool it off. Kind of give it a feel. It should feel a little stiff, but not quite. Perfect. Perfect. Now, what I like to do, it's just something I like to do. So I'll take, gosh dog it, dang. Off, okay. So I'll take my pasta out. See, this is a trick I told you about. Yay! Let it drain, shake it around a bit. Let a little bit get in there. Okay. So I'll bring this over here. Turn on cold water because I always have. Put it in. Okay. Once you drained it, bring the pasta into the bottom part of the pot. Okay? Put it over there. So that we've drained the pasta, we've just dumped it back into the bottom portion of our strainer pot. And we are now going to make sure this is still nice and not separated, mixed together. Alrighty. Now once that is all mixed together, we're gonna get, you can use a bowl or a plate. I prefer plates just because they're nice. So I got my plate, pretty little blue. I'm gonna get a roll of pasta here. It's not super pretty, but it does. Get a few slices of chicken. We'll go with 4. And there you have it. If you would like some Parmesan on this, you can make it and put it. You can put it on there, but since it has it in there, I don't like to. But there is your chicken with Alfredo. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. We're gonna eat.